record?
Yeah, we're recording.
Cool.
And downloading and installing the developer version, the free version of SQL Server was easy enough. And then when it was finished, it asked me if I wanted to install the the
MS. SQL Server Management Studio, SSMS.
The SMNS, and I just clicked yes and then installed that. Okay,
right.
And then the other thing I did was I downloaded
both putting our health on screen, right? It was mine last night, my Lancer Prazzoli.
Where is it? Okay, well, it made me download the file into documents for some reason. So I just copied the contents.
Okay.
Or I I cut the two files from here, and then I pasted them in here.
That's correct.
So they're right at the root of the C drive.
Yeah, they need to be on your C drive. Shall I give you a walkthrough and you can click the buttons?
Yeah.
So the files are stored under ETL file processing. So if we just go in and see that file structure, so RChain, because you could have other projects, but this is our projects. There's basically 3 folders, one for each file. Okay. And that was because I didn't know if I was going to automate it further than I have, but I haven't. So they're the 3 files. We've got the 2 block files.
Yep, right. We have the final values and the initial values. Right before the Barcelona scam. That's where, and then the transactions. So we have all the transactions from this point. Oops. To
go in there. Go into RChain, yeah.
Right to the end. This is the block that they're using to seed mainnet.
Yeah, and
okay.
I might as well talk you through just importing one file. So if you load SQL Server Management Studio, so if you go to your Windows box and type SQL.
Okay, I can do that. If I could just click on these files, it would open the studio.
There you go. I normally right-click open folder location, just put a shortcut on my desktop, but that's just a time saver.
Yeah, my desktop is always cluttered.
Yeah, you're not going to be programming in Microsoft much, I don't think.
Okay, and I should probably close some of my tabs.
Cool, looking good. Just connect.
Connect.
So,
all right.
If you expand your databases, and you haven't got any, so if you right click on databases, new database. Now, I can't actually remember what we called it, but we can look it up. If you go back to your folder structure, so your file explorer, yeah. So we've looked at the files. So if we go to the C drive again, and we go under source control, I think I called it RChain rhoc balancers, but no, sorry, go in there, yeah, just open that, because we need to check in the code. If you just to edit that .sql file. Sorry, no. I'll tell you what. Go in there. Go in there. It makes sense. Yeah, go in that SQL folder. Just double click on it.
Oh, it's a folder.
Open, yeah, and then go into code. And then you can pause there, so you can see I've got a folder for different types of SQL objects. So create schemas. We have sort of schemas or namespaces. Create tables, where we'll create our tables. Create stored procedures, where we'll create our procedural code to act on the tables, and some insert in tables comments. If you're going to create tables,
Create tables. What do you mean go in? Oh, it's a...
So just open it, yeah. Now, if you take that 1.1, just click on it and hold and drag it over onto the blue background. So left click, yeah, and then just drop it, and it should open up. Yeah. So now if you go in, so you can see there, the first line is use RChain rhoc balancers. So that's saying use that database. So that's the name of our database. So if you just copy that and then right click on databases, you'll need new database, and then you'll need to get rid of the square brackets, but paste that in and take the square brackets out as the database name. And then if you click OK, and that's created your database. Now, if you can see that this then says, if this table exists, drop the table and then recreate it. So it's essentially a create table script that you could run again and again. But if you close that down and we go back to the folder structure, so if you go back to File Explorer, yeah, so you can see they're all very similar. We're going to create 6 tables. The first 3, all the columns have the column type of string or varchar as it is in SQL. On the next 3, 2.1 to 2.3, I data type them. So if it should be a number, I convert it to a decimal. So I give, for instance, balance would have decimal type. You might want to open one of those up just before we move on. Just to have a quick.
Which one?
2.1.
The typed or the raw?
Why don't we open 1.1 and 2.1? Because it'll make things clear to anybody following along.
Okay, isn't that what we just had open?
It is, yeah. But you'll see what I mean. And open, so you can see there all the data types of varchar, which is string, yeah. And in 2.1, you can see it's exactly the same thing. It's a table called block 7598592, same as the other one, but it's in a different schema or namespace. It's in data typed instead of raw, and each of the columns have appropriate data types. So an ether address is a string, a rhoc balance should be a decimal, and is contract is a flag. So I've made it an integer. So the idea is we import the data from the file as strings just to get it in. And then the next thing we do is we copy it from this raw table where everything's a string into this data type table 2.1 where everything's data type. Just do Control A. I've noticed this bug in SQL. If you click, do Control A to select everything. Yeah, it's weird. The editor for this.
So when you select them, it doesn't really show it yet.
Yeah, so you have to do Control A. It's a pain in the backside. It's a bug in the latest.
It seems like if you click in here, it'll a couple times it will change it.
Yeah, if you start scrolling up and down, it'll update it. It's absolutely crap. They've broken it basically in the latest release, but it is what it is. But what I described and what was showing earlier,
that's raw.
is correct. So I think we can close those down now.
Yeah, just moving your cursor updates.
Yeah, if you scroll to the bottom, it should get it right. Yeah, data types, and they're all data types. Yep. So apologies for that poor demo, but blame Microsoft, not me. So if you close that down, and then if you go back to the File Explorer window, and you go up a level, because I think we've covered creating our tables, to code. So into code again. Then the next thing we've got is create stored procedures. So if you click in there, and if you open one of those stored procedures, just drag it across again or open it, and you can see all it's doing is inserting data that we've already loaded into the raw table into the data type table, and it's converting it en route, including dividing our rhoc balance by 1,000,000. Now, I think we need to review that. Is it by 1,000,000 or is it by 1,000,000,000 nano? I don't know. I think.
Oh, geez.
It's 1,000,000, is it? Let's come back to it. Let's not break the flow of me explaining how the program works, but it's something we need to remember.
What is that? I was just trying to look quickly, which nothing is quick anymore. If we go to well, it should, if we know nano is how many places, right? Oops.
Yeah, I thought it's 10 to the minus 9. It's a billionth, so we're out by a factor of 3. So we might as well correct that in the code. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought it was 10 to the minus 9 sounds right. I mean, atoms are pretty small, right? They're measured in nano, aren't they?
$10 million nanorep.
Lucky you. 1,000 for the ref. Could be worth something one day.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'm glad we got that straight.
So, do you want to add 3 more zeros to that division? Yeah, and then close that and open the.
Don't I have to save it or something?
Yeah, you do. Control S or unclose, or just close and it would prompt you.
Okay. So I open the next one.
Yeah. And then again add the 3 zeros. This is just the same thing for block 9371. Loading from the raw.block with the string data types into the data type.block, which has been converted to appropriate types. Close that down. And then you can open the third one, but there'll be nothing to do because I think we said that was in Rev.
Right.
So yeah, so we've just got the from and the to and the quantity. which doesn't need dividing. But again, it's the same structure. We're taking our raw data where everything is a varchar or a string, and we're loading it with appropriate casting into a data type table. So if you close that down.
And this was the tricky one here. We had to cast as a we had to cast as float and then cast as decimal. That's
right. So that's a workaround because of the SQL Server engine not working properly. It was
not, well, it didn't, it takes the E notation in float, but not in integer, whatever.
Yeah, it couldn't go straight from varchar to decimal if the representation of the number was in standard exponential format.
And we found here we couldn't use double. There wasn't any double.
Yeah.
The float doesn't have much precision, you know, but that's all right.
We could try real. I think real might work. If you want to replace that with real, I think real might be the equivalent of double, but we should probably Google and check. If you type capital REAL.
Did we try that?
Yeah, I'm not sure we ran it. I'm just going to Google it now while you're typing.
So I can't run this because we haven't loaded any data, right?
No. So real, float, and double. Oh. So the data types, transact SQL. I think they're all floating points of the float nature. So float, approximate numerics, float, and real. I'll click on real, and it says, I'll send it you, and you can load it up, and we can have a quick look. Discord, GM. Oh, I'll do that every time. There you are. So,
okay, so
which is greater precision? Real, by the looks of it.
N value.
Oh no.
N value.
I know float's our best option by the look of it.
Float of N. Okay, you put N.
Yeah.
In parentheses.
But I think we were good. I think
for double precision is float 53.
Oh, okay. Shall we try that? Go for float 53, make it a bit more accurate.
Sure. Well, what about?
I think real might be smaller. Yeah, there you go. Down a bit. It had the relative numbers, and real is float 24, double is float 53. Don't know what float.
Real is float 24.
Yeah, it's quite small.
Okay. So this one's 53 will give us full precision, right?
Yeah, close enough, I think.
We won't lose anything.
Yeah, exactly. Shall we try that? Replace float with real now with float 53.
Yeah.
Great. Do you want to just select? Oh no, we've got nothing created yet. So yeah, just close that down. And then the next thing I'm going to do is just show you how to import the file so that you can see how to do it. And then I'll go on to how I generated the insert statements, and then we'll be able to generate and run all the code at once. So if you'll bear with me, it'll take about 5 or 10 minutes max, and you'll have your solution up and running and ready to look at. So if you go to the database, RChain rhoc balances, and right click, Sorry, to the
Oh,
data.
here.
Yeah, that's right. Right click, do tasks, and then in tasks you can do import data. It's down near the bottom. Yeah, click on that, and then well, you might as well click don't show this again. You don't need that splash screen. And then you select your data source, which is a flat file. So if you click on the down arrow, flat file source. Next, browse. And then go to the C drive, ETL top one. Always leave it at the top. RChain could have multiple projects. And then if you just take the top one, top folder, yeah, click in there. Change your text files to CSV in the bottom right so we can see it. And this is the CSV that Ian provided that I downloaded and renamed like that. So if you click on that and open it, and then go to advanced. Data, there's columns and advanced in the left-hand side under data source. Scale that, yeah, there you are. And then there will be just strings of 50, which I think is long enough. So you can see that if you scroll down on the right-hand side, you can see it's got data type string of 50. Sometimes I might increase that, but it might be worth for the address just changing it to
All the addresses should be the same length, right? If they're not the same length, they're wrong.
Okay, yeah, go next because it'll error if it's too long. And then for your destination, choose SQL Server. So go on the down arrow and scroll right to the bottom where you'll select the native client provider for SQL. That's it. And then next, you can use Windows authentication, assuming you installed the standard stuff. And then you get to name your file, which I think we were using the raw schema. So you need to change DBO, database owner, to raw in the destination. You can click in and edit. So,
What do I do?
So where it says DBO, change that to raw, RAW, like raw files, raw data. Keep the brackets if you can. You don't have to, but it's just nicer. Yeah, RAW.
What was DBO? It's just what it.
It's the default schema, and I think it's an acronym for database owner, but it doesn't really mean a lot. And it's from a security angle, it's bad practice, and from a meaningful namespace angle, it's bad practice as well. Hence, choosing something different. So if you click next, and then you might as well click Save SSIS package.
Why?
Because I'll show you something. Click on File System. You don't need to do this, by the way. Click on Do Not Save Sensitive. So, sorry, click on the down arrow. Yeah. And click on Do Not Save Sensitive. Yeah. And then click Next. And because we've said save, it'll ask you where do you want to save it. So if you just browse and go to we can paste it over the one I created.
What about the name?
Oh, yes, that would help. No, just go to browse because I've already created one, so I'll save you some typing. But I'm just showing you what I did so that it's clear to everyone that I haven't done anything funny. So if you go to ETL file processing, RChain, and then X, the bottom one. And I just saved my import packages. So this one is importing the block 759. So just click on that one and we'll replace it. We're not going to look at it, but I'm just showing you what it is. So if you click on that, do we want to replace it? Yes, because we're doing it again. I'm just showing you what I did. And then click next. Don't worry about a description, and finish. And that should load your rows and save that package. Now, if you had the full, so that worked. It imported 6847 rows. It'll have created your table, and it's also saved what it's done in a package. I'm not going to go into that, but it's basically, you can open it up in a tool and it looks like a workflow with a source and a target, and you can then rerun it. But
so all I had to do, since we already had the data, all I had to do was go into was that an ETL file processing?
That's correct.
RChain, XSSI import packages.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't go there. Yeah, you can't run it. I don't think you can run it at the moment because you haven't got the tool. Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't know it. So I was just showing you what I'd created and why they were lying around in the files. So I would ignore that now. So if we just don't worry about it, escape and close. But I was just showing you what had generated that. Okay. I think it's an aside that we stop short of because I've done something else. Let's move on. Is that all right?
Okay, I'm just wondering what utility these have.
Yeah, so the utility is that if you installed Visual Studio, which is Microsoft's standard development environment, you can then install a plugin called SSIS, SQL Server Integration Services, for integrating data. And then you can open that up, you can open one of these up, and it's called a package. And essentially, it's a graphical representation of the data load. So it'll have a source task, which will point to your file, and then it'll have an arrow to a destination task, which will point to your target, your SQL table, and then you can rerun it. So you could put different data in and run it again. And you can build quite sophisticated workflows with it. But you could actually almost get rid of that because we don't care. Yeah.
Okay, so this.
Yeah, but you don't need to. Let me move on rather than do that again. If you go to your database now and expand RChain rhoc balances, and you expand the tables, you'll see that you've got your table. If you right click on it, this is what you just imported. So it did two things. It created that workflow package that I probably shouldn't have confused you with. And it also created this table and populated it. So if you do select top 1000 rows, you'll see you've got you've got your file data in there. Yeah. So the next thing I did was I right clicked on the, if you go to your database and right click on it, yeah, this will make sense in 2 minutes. You go to tasks and you go to generate scripts. Yeah, close. Yeah. Then again, don't show this page again. That's just a splash screen. If you tick on that, but it'll basically let you generate scripts. So we're going to generate the insert script so that we don't have to import again. So now you can select specific objects or the entire database. So we've only got one object, but let's select specific objects, expand tables, and select the table. And then if you click next, feel free to look at your schema. You can script your schema as well if you wanted, but we don't want to because we're only going to do an insert. So if you click next, and then you click advanced, top right, and then you scroll down, the stop Yeah, well done. Types of data to script, schema only. So if you double click in the where it says schema only, if you double click on the actual schema only text. So up. Yeah, left right hand side. Yeah, that's that line, right hand side. If you double click on that, it's actually on the schema only. Yeah, just double click there. It goes to data only, or you can do both. We're going to do data only. So if you double click to data only and click OK, so you could generate a create table script. I'm going to generate an insert into table script. So you click OK, click on save to new query window so that we see it rather than file. So that's the bottom option. And then if you click next and next again, so now you can see, if you click finish, that has generated the equivalent of loading the file in SQL. So if you executed that, it'd insert all the rows again. Yeah.
Right. So, are we going to save this somewhere? I mean,
we're not. We're going to close it. Bear with me. It all will become clearer within 2 minutes. So if you close that and you now delete your table, so make it an empty database again. So close everything down. Yeah, right click, delete. Okay. Yeah, delete that.
we didn't save the
Don't
script.
worry. We don't. Yeah, don't worry. I've already created them before. So now what we can do is if you go back to your File Explorer, I think it'll become clear very shortly, Jim. Thanks for bearing with me. So C drive, source control, RChain rhoc balances, SQL, code. And now you'll see we've been in every directory. Well, not schemas, but we can do that later if you want. But if you're going to insert into tables,
That's 3.
yeah, go into there. And then if you open 3.1 by dragging it on, yeah. So that is just a script that we just generated.
Okay.
Yeah,
But this was saved before. We didn't save it this time.
exactly. So we didn't bother saving it because I'd already created it, tidied it up, etc. So now I've shown you how to create every single one of the files that we've looked at. Yeah.
Right.
So the next thing is we can generate a deployment script. So if you close those two things down, those open windows, and we'll start from a blank. So it's starting from a completely blank slate now, but you know what all the files are. Do you want to go into the schema? If you go back to code, code, do you want to go into the create schemas, or that's the only one we've not been in, or are you happy with that?
We looked at the schema create, right?
I'm not sure we did. I think we went straight to tables. So let's just, for completeness, let's just drag that on as well and close it down. So it literally just creates your namespaces, yeah? So I created 4. I think we only actually used the first 2 and then we wrote our solution. But we've been through why we had raw and data type, yeah? So if you close that down now, and now what we're going to do is generate everything to run in order. So if you go to source control, or sorry, next one, yeah, go in there. Right, if you delete that SQL file, just right click delete. Sorry, no, the one with extension .sql. So it's number 1 RChain rhoc balances .sql. If you just delete that, that's the middle one.
Oh,
that one, yeah, delete that because we're going to generate it now. So if you open the RChain rhoc balancers.txt, just double click on it. Notepad will do nicely. Has that opened?
It's on my other window.
Sure. Sorry for being a bit bossy, but I'm just trying to explain. So you can see there, I've basically referenced every file we've looked at. So what I'm going to do is concatenate all those files together to create a deployment script. So what this is going to do when it generates a SQL file is it's going to the total deployment script will create our namespaces or schemas. It'll create each of the tables, first the 3 raw tables, then the 3 data type tables. Then it'll create the procedures that load one to the other. And finally, it'll insert into the raw tables. Yeah. So in order to do that and see everything together, you would go back to that directory. Is it the SQL? Yeah, that one, I think. You right click on the PowerShell. We can edit it if you want. So that's the .ps1 file. Yeah, so right click and edit that, and you'll see it's just a simple script.
Oh.
There you go. So that's PowerShell, and all it does is what I just described. It opens that notepad file, it reads each line, which references each file, and then it concatenates them together into a SQL file. So you can either run that from here by pressing the play button, or you can click close and you can do right click run. Yeah, that should do it. And it should generate unauthorized access. That's annoying. Yeah, you need to enable these. Just close that, Jim. You might have PowerShell's locked down. I should have remembered that. If you close the whole editor.
What am I doing?
Yeah, just close or exit. Yeah. If you right click on the file and do run with PowerShell, that's the one. You'll have to trust me. Thanks. It's run. So sometimes it does that. It'll allow you to run it, but not through the window. You have to give yourself permissions as administrator. But basically that has done what I just described, and it's just printed out on screen. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So if you press any key, you'll see you've got an extra file now. It's that SQL file. And if you drag that SQL file onto the blue bit of your screen, or double click it, yeah. Now you can see that's all the other files in order as described. And if you execute that, it will basically create you all the tables and populate the raw tables. With luck. Moment of truth. It'll take a while because inserts are, oh damn.
Query completed with errors.
That's all right. It's because we'd already created the raw schema. So what I suggest you do is rename your database. We'll literally start again on the database. So if you rename your database, I know how to fix this in 10 seconds. So if you go to your database in the Object Explorer on the left, away from the code on the left-hand side.
So why don't we just ignore the error?
Because it won't run. Oh, I see what you mean. I think you're right. Yes, we can ignore the error. So if you right-click on your tables, yeah, you are right, Jim. We could ignore the error. I like things to be clean, but you could delete your database, recreate it, and rerun that script.
Yeah,
you wouldn't get an
I
error.
don't want to run out of time here, so it should.
Exactly. So refresh. Unfortunately, in this object window, you have to do that. And now you should have the raw data in each of those tables.
Right.
So if you let's check. So let's select top 1000 from every table, and the raw ones should have data in, and the data type ones should not. So select top 1000. Yeah. So that one's all right. Next one. Yeah, this one should not. It's empty. That's the one. Yeah. So that's as expected, and then it should be the same.
We'll just take your word. Let's just take your word for it here. All these, that one's empty. This one's not.
Correct. Yeah. Select top 1000. Nice work. And then, yeah, and then again, the bottom one. Yeah, select top 1000, and at the bottom, sorry, data type transaction is the last one. Third one down. Yeah, that one should be empty.
Okay.
Which it is. So if we close all those windows, and then we can populate the data type ones using our stored procedures that we looked at earlier. Okay, so programmability. In the object window, sorry.
What?
Yeah, so it's, yeah, you don't need the files anymore. So if you go scroll down to programmability and expand that. Yeah, you're almost there. Up. It's just below the tables. So underneath the last table is views, external resources, synonyms, programmability. You want to, expand that. And then you want the stored procedures. And we've got 3. And those literally load the data from raw into data type. So you want to right click on each of those. And we're not going to modify them because we know they're correct. We're just going to right click and execute. So execute stored procedure. And there's no parameters, so just click OK. And it will open up. And if that returns naught, it ran. So if you do that for each one. And then again on the bottom one. Up. Nice work. So now if we select the data type tables, they should all have data in them. So yeah, that's the ones. So there you go. Next one. Select. And the next one, select. Good. And if you expand on, let's just take the top one. If you expand that out on the top, yeah, on the plus sign, to the left of the table, where you were, on the, no, not in the code, on the left-hand side. Yeah, just click the plus sign by one of the tables. And, yeah, there you go. And expand columns. And so we can rest assured that our ROC balances are in decimals that's got big numbers of, so we're not going to, 38.6 is enough, I think. You might want to check. You might want to go something like 38.12 just because of the decimal points, because we are on, we need to know it's the right amount. But I'll leave that with you. You can come back to that. But that's going to 6 decimal places, I believe.
I think okay. We want 9, right?
Yeah, we probably do. But you can now do that for yourself, right? Because I've explained everything I did. You can go into the create tables and you can change that data type, and you can Google. Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure I can.
Okay. Do you want to do it with me then before we move forwards? So what we'd have to do is basically rerun that process is what I would recommend. So if you
Well,
go,
let's just run this now. I mean, so this was in
so you could go into the code and the create tables, and you could open all three at once, 2.1 to 2.3. If you select all three and drag them on, it'll open all three files. You don't need to touch the raw ones because they're okay. It's those bottom three. So if you select it or open one, yeah, nice one, and then just drag them on. You can drag and drop onto the code window. Yeah, there you go, and it's opened all three. So now we can change that data type. So change that to 10 maybe.
9 is all we need.
Okay. Yeah. So that would reduce
No,
the.
it didn't ask me if I wanted to save that because I didn't close it. Okay.
Yeah, when you close it, it will. And then you've got a third one as well. One sec. Sorry, don't close it. Don't close it. Click no. We need to execute it first. So click the either F5 or the green play button to execute. On the menu bar is a green play button. Yeah, up, left, 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 nearly there. Yeah, down, left, right, there. So that table will now be empty, but with the new data type. So you can save and close that script. And then the same again here. That's still on 6, so you want to, yeah. No problem.
What is this? I
Nice
changed
one.
it, didn't
Possibly. There's a third one open, I think. And close that. And what I suggest we do is we just check that it actually updated the data type. So if you right click on tables on your, I'm going to start calling it Object Explorer. If you swing to the left, you see that window with all your tables listed. It's called the Object Explorer. Yeah, you can close everything else. Just keep it tidy. So if you right click on tables and click refresh, it's annoying, but you have to do that. And now if you expand again, we can just check that all those 3 data type tables now have the right data type.
So I could do it down here, right?
No, that's the stored procedures. So it's the 3 tables you need higher up. Yeah, the first 3 tables.
Columns.
Yeah, so that one's okay. Next one. Next table.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. You got it. That one's okay. And just check the last one. I'm not sure if we did the last one.
Yeah, I think we only did 2.
Yeah, I think we did. So maybe the last one's not right yet. No, it's not. It's 38.6, yeah? So so you need to open 2.3 in the create tables.
That's here, right?
That's right, yeah. So just that bottom one, double click it. Yeah, and just change that to a 9 and try not to teach you to suck eggs, but it's better to be clear because then if anyone's watching this, they're welcome to do it for themselves, right?
Right.
So yeah, you can right click. You can just right click on the table and click refresh. Yeah, that's the one. Right click, refresh. basically this is a bug, right? It should auto update, but it doesn't. So you need to expand the columns, and that's now correct. So I think we can say, and we'll have to, of course, all these tables are now empty because we've recreated them. So you'll have to rerun those stored procedures, which is good practice. So if you scroll down, or maybe.
That's interesting. We ran this, it said drop the table, right? Is that the idea?
Yeah, so if you were to select from there, it's now empty because we deleted the table with the data and recreated it, but we haven't put any data in it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. How did we? I forget already how we loaded the data. We did ran the procedure.
We did. So if you collapse these tables so that you can see your left-hand window. Yeah, that's the one. And the next one. And the next one. Then if you remember, our stored procedures are below. If you collapse the minus sign as well. Not that one, sorry. The bottom one. Next, keep going. Yep, if you expand that. Yeah. So you can right click on each of those and click execute. And what's in there, right click modify will show you the code. So if you right click modify, it won't do anything, but it'll show you the code, which is what
okay,
we know.
We already saw that.
Yeah, exactly. So if you execute those three.
And they have no parameters.
Yeah, correct. And execute that as well. Oh.
All right.
Good.
And now if we do a refresh.
Yeah.
On our tables here, we should be able to
just select from them, you see the data.
Right.
And we know they're now the right data types. So what that means is we've set up 3 tables with the correct data types to do calculations without losing anything. So we can now write a query against those 3 data type tables.
Okay, now this transaction table.
Yes.
Okay, what I was thinking, let's just look at.
Be careful because you clicked edit, which means you can alter it. You would normally click select top 1000 because we don't want to risk accidentally pressing a button and altering the data. I'd close that. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you want to save changes. It's where you change the 6 to a 9.
Okay, that's what, did I have that open twice? And
no, you didn't. I think save that because we know it's right. Cool.
And that was, wait a second. So now I have to load it again?
No. That was, you didn't do anything. It was just lying around. It was just a create table file, but you didn't run it. You didn't execute it. If you want to be sure, just right click and do select top 1000 and your data will still be there in that table that's highlighted. Yeah, had you executed it, it would have deleted the table and the data and created an empty one, but you didn't run it, so it's still there.
So if I want it to be 9, I have to run that.
Sorry?
So this would still be 6, right?
No. If you expand it on the plus, if you click on the plus sign next to the table, lower. Lower. Yeah, there. And then if you expand the columns,
It's
yeah,
9.
it's 9. So everything's right now. So we're set up to go, and we could open our solution build query. Now, if you want, I can code for a bit, and we can swap screens. But if you prefer to do the coding yourself, that's equally fine. I've got till 3 o'clock, so I've got UK time. So we've got an hour and 3/4. So do you want me?
We don't have much coding, right, dude? I mean, the only thing I was thinking is that we have I was thinking of, of having audit fields so that, and I don't know, I was thinking we just add columns to this.
Yeah, can do that.
So that we would have the,
Jim, I'm wondering whether it would be worth swapping screens. We don't have to, but I'm just thinking I'd probably type a bit quicker than you in SQL.
yeah.
Yeah?
We can switch. Okay, so what I'm thinking of is, is showing the initial and final balance of each account, but it's really the good and the valid and the scam rhoc. So that's 6 fields.
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess or 7 fields if we can
get familiar with the way.
Sorry about that, Jim. Sorry. Please carry on. I was listening, and then Cantana started. Sorry.
So the before and after balances.
Yeah.
That's 4 fields. Plus this, before and after balances.
On the transaction.
Before, after, and scam. I don't know. I'm trying to think what we can print here so that we can follow each transaction and see where the error was. I suppose we could just put.
I'm listening.
The from.
Yeah.
TS and the taint.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Jim, I do apologize. I'm going to have to shut you down, I think, in order to move machines. So just give me a minute. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Are we back on?
We're back.
Okay, so just before I log into SQL Server, for anybody who might be watching, as Jim said, the download is very easy, but I'll just show you how to find it. If you type SQL Server 2019 into Google, I think it's the first link currently, which is not a surprise. Oh, it might be download, SQL Server 2019 download into Google. Then click on the downloads link. And if you scroll down, you can see there's a developer edition. And this is a free edition. It's fully featured, free edition, licensed for use for development and test in a non-production environment. So for this, we're covered because we're not going live with it. We're just hacking around to do some rhoc balances. So there you go. So it's that button that people will need. So with no further ado, let's get back to where we were. So we developed the same thing last night, and I already have it on my machine. I believe it's still here. So you can see I've got a few more databases, but mostly developed the same way. But now I'll just need to quickly update the decimals to 9 that we just did in the in Jim's session. So I just need to go into create tables on the data type ones, drag those across, and update the 6s to 9s. So delete 9, execute, close, yes. Second one, delete 9, execute, close, yes. Delete 9, execute, close, yes. And in the stored procedures, I actually need to add the 3 zeros in. So it's similar to what we just did before. Open. So because it's nano, it's actually only in 2, isn't it? It's in the 2 blocks. But I need to add 1, 2, 3 zeros and execute that. Close. Yes. Add 1, 2, 3 0. I better count those. In fact, 1, 2, 3 zeros. Execute. Close. Yes. And just so that my script is up to date as well, I'm just going to regenerate this SQL file so that it's got the changes we just made in case I redeploy. I'll do that at the end as well if I remember, which I probably will. Ooh, why is that taking forever? There you go. Right. So that should leave us with empty tables here, I believe. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 empty tables here, and we should already, because I deployed it, have the data in here. So 1, 2, 3. So we're in business, and I can now run those correct stored procedures. Execute. Okay. And it returns 0. Execute. Come on. Okay. It's running a bit faster after a Windows update, Jim. That's better than last night, eh? So that's that. If I close all those down now, we should now have our data in these tables. Let's just check. Test as we go. Finally. It's a lot of effort just to get the right data with the right data types, but the benefit of that is, having done it, we jumped straight into hacking a script together to try and calculate the balances, and whilst we know it's not right, I believe this ran last night and returned a result set.
Right. And how do you save the result set?
You can, yeah, I'll show you I can show you on these. You right click, copy with headers, or save results as, and then I can save that as a CSV file wherever I want. So let me do that again. Right click, save results as. So you click in the corner of the results that you want, and then you save results as, and then I can save it wherever I want. I could put it on my desktop.
Click in the corner.
Yeah, you click in the top left, so between the column name and the first row, okay, in that square, you right click.
Save results as. Yeah.
That's the one, yeah. Save results as. And then if I just put that on my desktop, for instance, call it X, then I can go and find that, and because I've got Excel, it'll open in Excel. But there it is, x.csv. Could edit it with Notepad++. And there you go, it's got the result. So yeah, this is where we got to last night. So it completed with errors, Jim, and we didn't really determine what those errors were. So it kind of worked. It did calculate some valid rhoc and scam rhoc.
Right.
I believe you, not that I'm going to ask you what your particular address is, but I believe you searched your address and said that you noticed you had a bit of both. So some people, yeah. So
we had some negative values in.
Yeah, it's wrong at the moment.
And
yeah.
Do we? That should be fixed now, hopefully. Because that was probably because of the decimal places being wrong.
Yes, it could have been. Shall I do a query for negative balances? But I mean, basically, I almost feel we need to step through this code and comment it and sort of go, yeah, we sign off that this is good code, and oh no, this is bad code. Because we really just wrote it in a rush last night, didn't we? So whilst it's on the right lines, it's almost certainly, well, it's not right. So I guess we've got 2 or 3 options, but what I would suggest is that we start commenting the code and then sort of say, well, what's good code and what's bad code. So for instance, I think the first thing is obvious and fine. So we just comment that we're going to union accounts from all tables.
Now we have negative values. That's still.
We do.
I think so.
Yeah.
I ran it on my machine. I copied it and pasted it into Google Sheets.
Yeah.
And I got negative values for my own account. I got a negative value.
Oh, that's not good.
And I got a significant amount of, a huge amount of, I got 39,000 scam rocks. Not good.
No.
And
so you need
minus 88,000, minus 8,000 good rocks.
That's really not good and clearly wrong, right?
Right, and the second one right at the beginning, it shows my beginning balance is 53,000 rocks. I think it should be 530,000 rocks. 537. So we're still off it on the decimal places somehow.
That's not good, is it?
So we have to divide it by 1 less 0.
Right. Okay, yeah, that sounds fair. So shall I do that now? Jim?
513, 537. Yeah. Okay, so
Okay.
so what is it? We have 8 zeros, 1 with 8 zeros? That's what we divided by? Instead of 9 zeros?
Possibly. Yeah, I agree with you. So yes, is the answer. You're right. Nice work. Modify. We want one less 0, yeah? Execute. Ah, no, I'm sorry, I'm rushing. I mustn't do that. I need to do it on the actual solution files, otherwise our source control gets messed up. So apologies. C drive. Well spotted, Jim. Always better to spot such things at the start, right? So it's not here, it's here. So get rid of a 0, execute, close, yes. Get rid of a 0, execute, close, yes. Except I don't think these stored procedures had truncates in them. Oh, it did. Check that out. Good. So now hopefully this is still the right number of rows. It was 7,000 and something, I think. It's slowed right down again. Yeah, so that's okay. That's okay. Can't remember how many transactions there were. It was about 7,000, wasn't it? Yeah. So that looks okay. No. Let's just take that. Select top 1,000. Where? Still wrong. That's out. How can it be out? We just redid it. Doesn't make sense.
What happened? I missed it.
I looked at my address and it was out by a factor of 10 again, which I don't understand because we just took a 0 out, right?
I don't.
That should be times 10. I'll tell you what, just to show how quick this is and be clean. So kill the database, new database, Control V, okay. We know we took the zeros out and saved them, or at least I think I saved them. It's getting late here, but all the same. Delete that, recreate it.
What did I do?
Drag that on. Execute that. Didn't take too long to run, did it? that's basically should regenerate the whole thing with the new stored procedures, which we can then just execute.
So
So that should have regenerated it. So assuming I save my code, one would hope that this would now have the right value in it. Yeah, boom, it's fixed. So I don't know what I did, but it is now right. Yeah.
okay.
God, this is hard work, eh? But I guess getting it right is hard work.
Yeah,
I think, mate.
I'm still lost. I'm trying to duplicate what you're doing on my side.
Fair enough. So what I've basically done, what I would suggest we do is, I agree with you about auditing, but I'm thinking you might be able to look at writing that for yourself tomorrow if you've got time.
Yeah.
Maybe what we should try to do is actually get to a point where we've calculated the right balances. And what I'm thinking is, if we can get this script correct, we can then save the output to a table, and then we can check that the total rhoc plus the scam rhoc as a grand total is the same as the information in block 9371743. And we would have quite a lot of confidence in the result if the calculated values that we calculate from 759 plus the transactions then add up total and scam rhoc to the same for every address as the values in 937.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yep. I mean, if that comes out right, we can feel pretty confident that we're close.
Exactly. Not certain, but confident. And I'm thinking that would be a nice point to leave the rest of the community at. And then you'd also have this video, and I could back up this database and post the backup. I can show you how to back up and reinstall a database. So you wouldn't have to go through everything we've just gone through. You could just install it, and then you'd have this script to run against it.
Right.
So I think that's probably the best we can. It's pretty ambitious in an hour and 20 minutes, but that's the best we can aim for, is to maybe have two scripts. One, this one, that generates the true rhoc and scam rhoc and saves it to a table, output, whatever. And then another script that runs a test that takes that output table and compares it to what's in block 9371743.
Right. Well, we could just add a result at the bottom of this, can't we?
We could actually. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, have it in one script. No reason why we can't at all. Yeah. So is that our goal?
Yes.
Cool. So
did we regenerate both tables?
We did, yes. All of these tables have data in them, and I could check.
Correct?
Yes, I know this one looks correct because I just checked my address and it had the right amount of rhoc. It wasn't out by a factor of 10.
Right, and that's the final table or the initial?
That's the final table because I haven't got my address on the initial, and I actually moved it. After this block, I sent my rhoc to a MyEther wallet. So I've only got the address that I just looked up in here. I don't know what address I had in here.
Okay. Well, we can check mine.
If you're happy to.
Um, it's not. We can be pretty confident and see if there's a problem.
Yeah. So do you want to give me a few letters from it? Perhaps a sequence of 6 letters? I'll do a like. You give me any 6 consecutive letters, it'll probably identify it.
OXDB 30.
OXDB 30.
Yeah.
There you go, 537. Yeah.
Okay.
537,013. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah. I'm wondering why it's. Huh.
You got a point for concern, or?
Well, that was just a little bit higher than I expected, but I could verify that.
Fair enough. And I found it in here as well.
537,000, right?
Yeah, 34.7.
I wonder what happened to them.
How comfortable are you with this?
It must be right. You know, I
Yeah.
thought I'd more since April. I don't know. Maybe.
Do you know that this address is April the 19th? It's not May the 6th. That Ethereum block height is April the 19th. I checked on Etherscan. So I guess you might have got some more or sold some between then and now, or then and. Anyway, how happy are you with the value shown?
Yeah,
I was happy.
It's right. It's what was in the data. So.
Yeah, and it's definitely, it was right for my address. At least on the 937. So I think we can say the data is now right, which is important, right? So yeah. we know we're starting from a good point, and this is very simple code where we're just unioning together. Nice work, Jim. This was your idea. All the accounts in any of these tables. So either the to or the from address, or any Ethereum address in this block or this block. And if we take a distinct list of all of those, we know we've got all addresses. So we're not going to fall over because we haven't got an address.
Right.
And
right. It's a little bit of overkill. We just need the 2 addresses and the initial addresses, and we should get them all. But, you know,
okay.
Now we know we have them all.
Yeah, exactly. Even if we should, but it'd be nice to be certain, right? So I think we can. Let's just keep a tab here where we know we're all right to. Yeah, help if I could spell. But I'll just move this down as we go down the script. Yeah. So the next thing we do is we declare the Pythia Barcelona address and we set them. And I copied and pasted them from your spreadsheet. So as long as your spreadsheet's right, that should be right. And we can run that and see that they're set to this and that. Okay. So I think we can safely say we're okay to here. Yeah. Are you happy?
I'm happy.
Pardon?
Yes, I'm happy.
Good man. So the next thing we did was what? For every address in our full list of accounts, we wrote out the initial value as per block 759, which is here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if the rhoc balance was null, then we replaced it with 0.
Right.
Which is fair enough. And here we basically said that what have we done here? Yeah, that's the same again, basically. So we had to convert this. We need to replace them with 9s. But essentially, all this is saying is set the valid rhoc to be the same as the initial value. But I'll put a cast in here for some reason, which might be overkill again. But as I've done it there, I guess I should do it here as well. And that way we know it's of this type. So it's big.
Didn't we already cast those to be?
Not the 0. It's just 0.0.
Oh, the 0. Okay, never mind.
I think actually it is overkill, but I'd rather be safe. But it's not a lot of processing, so why not do it? And the same here. So we've basically said we've got the balance as the initial value, the balance as the valid rhoc, and 0 as the scam rhoc.
Right.
And then what we've said is we're going to switch the valid rhoc round if it's the Pythia address.
Right.
Yeah, and we can check that that's worked by selecting and running to this point, just put in a quick test, select hash balance from hash balance. Oh, sorry.
Isn't that what we have right below? No.
Yeah, if we take the valid rhoc and the scam rhoc and the address from this table, what else have we got? Initial, haven't we?
Well, yeah, you could have just put star.
I could. I mean, in the interest of time, although it's bad programming, I probably will going forward. And if we do a where ETH address equals Pythia address, I'll have to run the whole thing, but that's fine. It doesn't take long. And we can see that that's worked. It's set the Pythia addresses to scam rhoc. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if we just do run that again, but for everything else should basically be in the valid rhoc. And it does look that way, yeah? So I think that's good. So we're okay to there, yeah?
Yep.
So I'm just going to switch off my washing machine or it'll keep beeping.
So you already had that. You already had that debugging in there.
I'm sorry, Jim?
Yeah, you already have the select in there to check that address, so you can delete it from the other one.
I got it lower down, have I? You're saying delete this?
No, down below.
Yeah.
There we go. The first select. Nope.
Yeah.
Right under initial balances, the first select. There, yeah.
Well, I can delete that.
Right. Well, or do you want to? Did you want to do it? You put it above and commented it out.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, got you. So what you're saying is this is our debug.
Right.
Yeah.
Same thing as the debug.
Yeah, except actually it's better because it's got the Barcelona as well. So let's just, thank you. Because we don't want to have to go back. So we can see that the Barcelona address had 0 at the initial, which we knew, and this is correct. So we really are okay to there. So that can be debugged. Yeah. Thank you, Jim. Sorry. I lost the plot in walking 5 meters. So initial balances. This is where we are going to loop through and do our calculations. Yeah. I'll just pop that back there.
We're going to sequentially process all the transactions.
Correct. Perfectly said. Yeah. So.
Should we run it?
We can. I mean, I think we know it'll run. The problem is it's not quite right. We need to review it, but let's run it. Just, yeah. This will take a little bit longer because it's processing each transaction individually. But at least it proves to anybody watching that it processes through. It might be doing the wrong calculation, but it is going through the transaction table row by row.
Well, now that we fix the values, it may not get errors. Who knows?
That's true. Good thinking, Batman. Yeah.
We could start going through the logic while we're waiting, but it shouldn't take that long.
Well, yeah. Why not? So, just so it's clear for everybody, these variables will store the value for each row we read in, and what we're basically going to do is use this cursor, which you can think of as a table it's the transaction table basically, and we're going to step through it row by row, and each row that we select we are going to assign to these variables, which means we can make calculations on them. So
okay, we got it. We can complete it, right?
Yeah, completed with errors, and we don't really know why it bombed out. But what we do know is that it created quite a big table, which I could save the results as to my desktop. X. Yes. Save. Yes. And then I'm kind of curious. X is now there, so I could open that, and we can look for both our addresses and see what we've got, right? So Control F for me, FF0711, and that looks kind of nice. I get my rhoc. Yourself, Jim?
The OX DB30.
DB30. I wouldn't panic.
What?
Must be in there.
DB30.
Sorry, just say that again. I'm going to start again. 0x.
DB30.
There you go.
Okay, I got a positive number there. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I got a whole bunch of scam rhoc, huh?
Yeah.
1,400. But at least I have
still a richer man than me. But they don't add up, Jim. 513. Well, your total. Oh, you could have sold some en route. Yeah.
I bought some. I thought.
It's showing that you had
no,
more.
I did sell some. Somehow I sold some. I don't know how it got out of the account. I don't know how that account got reduced.
Yeah. But on the whole, that's looking fairly positive, right?
The only thing I can think is that I paid somebody. Right.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah. Cool. So on the surface, we would be happy with that if it was a correct calculation. Shall we review the calculation?
Yeah, I did give people rhoc. I think I gave my children some rhocs.
Fine, man. Good lad. So
So this looks very promising. So
it
now,
actually,
now
yeah,
now we want to do the total
the test.
of the scam and the regular rhoc,
Yeah,
right? And see if that equals the total of.
yeah. So we want to. So this can be almost debug, right? Now, in fact, we want to persist this now into a table, don't we? Which we could call data type dot well, it's final balances, really, isn't it? Or it's I can't think of a good semantic name. I mean, it's block 9371743 underscore accounted for scam rhoc kind of thing. Long name, but
yeah.
743 underscore scammed or true rhoc totals. Yeah, true, because that's what we're really after.
Valid rhoc, right?
Valid rhoc, yeah. Yeah. Should I call it that?
Yeah.
And then we can, once we've got that, we can then compare the two. So it's select, right. So it's, in fact, let's create that first, because once we've created it, it'll appear here. And that then makes it easier to work with. So we can now say, select the Ethereum address, and we know we've got all addresses in this table.
Why do we need the Ethereum address?
Pardon?
We don't need the address.
I suppose we don't for the test, do we?
We just want to get the sum of
the
initial value, right?
I think having the address is nice in case there's any errors. Then we can see which address it is and go and look at the data point. We don't need it.
I don't know what you're doing now. Oh, I see what you're doing. You're.
Yeah. So I'm going to do from this.
This isn't going to work.
Is it not? I'm pretty sure it is. So this would be valid rhoc.
We have the final amount of rhoc.
Yeah.
But okay, so it should be the same as what's in the table, right? The final amount should be the same as what's in the other table.
Yeah. That should be 0.
Now the final amount plus the scam amount equals the amount in the second table.
Yeah.
Okay, what I was going to do was just a broad check of the whole thing, add up all the initial rhoc. Okay, and get one grand total, and then get the total of the valid and the scammed, and that total should equal the other total. So I mean that's another test that can be done.
I agree. We'll write your test as well, but that's not bad, especially if these two are.
Yeah, if this works, then the other has to work. So.
But these are not the pithier addresses.
What are you talking about? What's up?
I wanted everything to be 0 apart from these addresses. And instead, we have only got 3. I suppose that Pythia or Vibhasa guys could have moved their rhoc to a new address, right? Let's do your test, Jim, because I am getting.
Let me understand. Understand what you did there. You check the final rhoc plus the scam rhoc.
Yeah.
And
minus
equal to the final rhoc. Okay. Now.
Yeah. So I was saying that this value should basically be 0. The valid rhoc plus the scam rhoc should be the same as the rhoc in the original final block snapshot. And it does seem pretty good, but no cigar. Because when I run it, there are, all right, so rounding errors could account for, I don't think too many people are going to get upset at being, 1/10,000th or 100,000th for the rhoc out, right? I think people can live with that. But there's 2 addresses, so whoever owned these 2 addresses might not be too happy. Now, if they happen to be the Pythia and Barcelona guys, perfect. That's what we want. But we have no way of knowing who owns these addresses.
Well, we know what the
and this one, okay, but that could just be some very unlucky rounding errors. But it's only 400,000 for the rhoc. I think that guy could live with it, right? If it was me, I'd go, yeah, whatever. So it's only these 2 addresses, which almost bodes quite well. Shall we look up these 2 addresses, or would you rather write a different test?
I think we should look them up.
Okie doke. Let's do that. On the final table, yeah? Just see how much they've got. So I'll do that. It's quite interesting, this. Help me calculate my crypto tax as well. Thanks for your help. Because it's basically your logic, right? It's my, I've just been the code monkey here. I'm aware we didn't literally use Greg's spec, but I think we've done something vaguely equivalent. Is that right?
Yeah, his spec page I don't really understand.
I get it from a point of view of transitive stuff from my maths days, but transitive relations, but I didn't really read it, so I've just gone with what you've done because it kind of makes sense, right? And I think maybe his was some sort of recursion, was it? Whereas what we've done is do it differently in a way. As long as we're sequential in the transactions, I think our well, your method is valid as well.
We should get the same result.
Exactly.
But
So,
I mean, he ended up his example was ended up different, and I think it would be very interesting to see what differences we come up with.
yeah. I mean, I certainly feel. I think what we should perhaps do, because we're not going to get too much further, right? I think we should perhaps have a quick look at this calculation, and then maybe I should show you how to, so because I can back this up. So do you want to look at the calculation, or do you want me to kind of snapshot this and put it easily to access on Discord?
Yeah, actually, if you just gave me the solution and the
a backup
solution SQL and the final file, and the well, we want the database.
Yeah. So I think let's do that. So tasks, backup, and you can save it anywhere. So I always remove that because it gives you some long SQL path. And then I always go somewhere sensible, right? Like, who knows? Let's say backup. Let's create that folder on the C drive. So,
you can put it in the same, yeah.
Oh, I can. Of course I can. Yeah, you're quite right.
I think you have a results folder already, right?
I don't actually. I just put it on my desktop. It's here. So in this x.csv, but I will rename that to something a bit more sensible, like results. Yeah. If I open that up, that's it. So we should find, for instance, mine. And there it is. Yeah. So that is the right file.
Yeah, I guess dumping it as well, the backup file will have it.
Yeah. As they're files, I'll put them in this folder here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this was from yesterday, so I'm going to delete that. Okay.
All right.
So that's our results, and then I will back up to this same folder. So all the files are in the same place, yeah?
Yeah.
So this backup will go to C ETL processing, which is where all the files are under RChain, and I'll call it the name of the database, RChain _ I'm sorry for misspelling rhoc. Bit embarrassing, but hey ho. Okay. And that was created successfully. And we can prove that by restoring it. So I'm going to delete this now.
Why don't you drop it on me, and I'll load it on my end.
That's a good idea. Yeah, no problem. So just drop this file into the chat with you, yeah?
I guess so, yeah.
That makes sense. There you are, sir. My files are too powerful.
Too big, huh?
10 meg. I can email it here. I could probably zip it up as well. Should I try zipping it?
Nah.
No? I'll just email it. This is easy, yeah?
Yeah.
Because to be honest, I've got a lot going on with my job. It's pretty dicey at the moment, new job. So I'd rather kind of hand over. I'm impressed at how quick you get up and running in something you don't know, Jim. Says a lot.
Yeah, well,
Well,
I'm not really up and running.
yes,
But,
you are. I know what you mean, but you're doing a lot better than I would on, say, Google Sheets, having just seen it. It does say a lot. I mean, this is what I do for my day job, right? So, of course, I'm efficient. Oh.
Yeah, well, I was sort of a SQL master at Barclays Capital. I was, I would find where the deadlocks were and stuff.
Yeah.
And I implemented 2 equity products with all their scripts and everything.
Fair enough. So you're not exactly new to it.
I knew, I was using it on a daily basis like 13 years ago.
Fair enough. I know what you mean. Yeah, it sticks with you ish, but you definitely. Yeah, I hear you.
The problem is that you use other stuff too. You use the MySQL, you use this, you use that. And they're all just different enough to.
They're just different enough to confuse you, right?
Right.
Right. C drive.
Right. I wasn't using SQL Server. I was using Ingress. Ingress?
Oh wow. Postgres?
No. I've used Postgres, but Ingress I think has the same background as SQL Server. SQL Server kind of grew off of Ingress.
Yeah.
So it's similar. Postgres is very different.
Got you.
And my experience with Postgres is even longer ago.
I say got you. It's nearly 3 o'clock here. I'm concentrating on one thing at once, but it's interesting. I'm trying to remember what I'm doing. So I also want to zip up. That's right.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to fit the whole thing on on Discord. So I'm going to have to.
Except I think it did work when I did it like this yesterday. So I'm still hopeful that this plus this.
But you didn't have a database backup in there.
That's true. Maybe I'll take out the database backup. Good point. Because it's in the email anyway.
Database backup is all we need.
True. I'll get rid of these import packages because they were just confusing. But the rest, might as well leave it in if it'll fit. However, the other thing you need is a solution script.
Right.
So that's what you need. The database backup, you don't actually need the results, but I'll put them in the solution script. But dependent on whether it'll go through, in fact, I'll send that to you now, Jim. Yeah?
Yeah.
And you've got it. And then I'll send the zip I'll do separately, yeah?
Right.
Sorry. Getting tired, I think. It's one of the reasons I kind of called it a day. So let's see if this zip works.
What was that?
But let's at least verify that you can install the backup and that you've actually got it.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah. I wish you all the best, mate. Thank you for all you do a lot more than I do. But there's c.zip as well.
I don't get it. Where'd it go?
Did you not get an email?
I got an email.
Cool.
Okay.
So that's what you actually need. But separately, I'm in the chat channel on Discord. I'm just doing. So this is your. See if that'll go. It will. So that's above.
So rhoc balances is the backup.
Zip of database backup.
Doesn't have any extension, file extension.
Ah, I should just rename it .back, B-A-K. That's my mistake. You're right, it doesn't. It was because I was tired. But I think it'll work anyway. I've just renamed it, as you can see, .back. That's standard. I think you can just rename that.
All right.
Shall I stop sharing and let you share?
Sure. So I can delete my database, right?
Yes.
It's taking a long time.
Yeah, they do sometimes. Have you got all the windows closed? Because if you've got connections open, that can mess it up. It might fail to delete. Right, I think you've got everything you need there, both by email concisely and the lot by Discord in my one-to-one messenger with you on Discord. So with that, I will try and maximize this again so I can see what you're doing. Drop failed. Yeah, if you click close existing connections at the bottom, that'll be why. And now click OK. If you've got any connections out there, it's gone, you see. And now if you right click on databases, I think you've got restore database. No, not that. No, close that. That's lower level. Yeah. Restore database. That's the one. From device. And then I think you can find it up with the ellipses, yeah. Add. It's all very clunky. No, that's right. Add. No, click that. You were right. Click that again. And then click add. And then, yeah, go to wherever it is. You're somewhere in program files there. Why Microsoft puts it there by default, I don't know. Scroll to the top.
No, I think I put it in.
Yeah, so collapse program files, because you won't have put it under there, right?
Oops. It should be under.
Wherever you.
Should be under. I don't know why.
Did you put it on your desktop?
No, I put it in. What is this? Oh, this.
I'm just going to do some clearing up, Jim, while you find your file, yeah? Maybe put it on the C drive or something.
Okay. I thought it was in backup. Downloads.
But that'll be under your username. I don't know. It looks like it's not giving you access, yeah?
It's not opening up anything in sqlserver.
Try putting it on your C drive or in ETL processing. put it in ETL processing, and then it's the top directory, and you can just find it from there. I think maybe SQL Server isn't allowed access to user directories, and therefore the desktop and documents and downloads.
How come it, oh.
There it is, good. So let's hope this works. Okay. Okay. And okay again. Looking good.
How do you like that?
Nice work. So if you go to your Management Studio window.
So I just restored the database. I still have to get the solutions.sql, right?
That's the one, yeah.
And I'm going to stick that in the where does that go?
I would go C drive.
Yeah, ETL processing, RChain. Where did we put it?
Well, it was in the source control, C source control.
Oh.
But just put it wherever you feel you will be comfortable with it. You could paste it over the old one, but then your solution's out of sync. Because you'd probably want to download the zip and delete everything else. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably got a bit of housekeeping to do. Maybe just put it there for put it with the backup. Yeah, put it next to the backup, because then those two things are all you actually need. Does that work for you?
Yeah. Okay, so so now I have this here.
Yeah.
And I can just double click this, right?
I would open. You can, yeah, that's true. Now, one thing you need to know is, as it happens, because you've only got one database, it's connected you anyway. But while we're here, you see the Object Explorer window.
Yeah.
That's connected to whatever it is under Connect, or mainly whichever database you're on. But if you go up just above the Object Explorer, in the gap between the two words, yeah, go up a little bit more. Sorry, get rid of that. Yeah, up. Sorry, click on the code window. I'm not being very clear, but click on the code window, and you see it's highlighted another connection above the Object Explorer. So can you see where it says RChain rhoc balances? Just to the left of that?
Yeah.
Just to the left of that? Yeah, there. Click that. So just so you're aware, that icon is what you're connected to in your code window. Now, you haven't got another option, but if you changed it and click Connect now, then in the bottom right, it tells you where your code window is connected to. See, it says Desktop Jim Scarver on the yellow? Yeah. So the point is your code window can be connected to a different database than your Object Explorer window. And if someone had told me that when I first started coding in this environment, it would have saved me a lot of time in the first 3 months. But for you, it doesn't matter because you've only got one database. Although, look now, you're connected in master. So if you click execute now, it won't work because you're connected to master. Yeah, click execute. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So if it doesn't work, it might be because you're not connected to the right database. You got me?
Yeah.
Because I'd hate you to suddenly go, it's not working. because it probably is. All right.
Okay, it's running. Go to bed.
Thank you, sir. It's been fun. Yeah, I don't know when. I'll probably check in at the weekend just because of what we're looking at. If that's all right, if you're around. I don't know, then. I'm a bit busy, as you already know. But thank you for your help.
Sure.
Take care, mate.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. And I will pause this.